Walter Ray Williams Jr. has the most titles, the most prize money, and the most Player of the Year awards in bowling history. Today, he returns to TV with a chance to extend his legacy. You'll see the living legend on CBS Sports Network right now. From Oklahoma's Grand Casino Hotel and Resort, it's the PBA Tour Summer Swing on CBS Sports Network. 5 of the world's best bowlers compete in the Badger Open. This is Dave Ryan. We have a step-ladder format today, starting with the 5th seed Sean Maldonado of Houston, making his first career TV appearance. His opponent has made a PBA record 175 TV appearances, yielding a record 47 titles. The legendary Walter Ray Williams Jr. He's been a Hall of Famer for 20 years. The 3 seed Ronnie Russell of Marion, Indiana, won last year at the Summer Swing here in OKC. Rhino Page has 3 career PBA titles, but none since '09. And top seeded Dom Barrett of Colchester, England, leads the field. He has 4 career PBA titles. My Hall of Fame broadcast partner, Randy Peterson, joined by fellow Hall of Famer Walter Ray Williams Jr.
Thanks, Rhino. With me, the winningest player in the history of this great sport. You know, Walter Ray, it's hard to believe that your first title on the tour came almost 30 years ago in Peoria, Illinois. How much competitiveness is left in the tank at this level against these young guns?
Well, I still have a desire to win. I still have a desire to compete. I love bowling, and I'm out here to win.
Walter Ray, good luck. Thank you.
55 years old, Randy the legend has not won on the PBA Tour since 2010. 2 of the 5 Summer Swing winners have been determined already. Youngster Kyle Troop, in his first career TV appearance, won his first ever title. Tommy Jones won a USO for the first time since 2008, climbing the ladder, beating Norm Duke in the finals of the Bear Open. Now the Badger Open at 52 feet, the longest oil pattern. It's a Summer Swing. We are ready for bowling from OKC. What a parallel. Maldonado's first ever TV appearance against the living legend. The two-hander from Houston. Looking for help, 10-pin stands.
Two-handed style, but he does use his thumb. He puts his thumb all the way in that thumb hole. Take a look as he puts his hand in the spare ball. And there it is.
Converts the 10-pin. Walter Ray back on TV.
That's different.
From Oxford, Florida, just outside the Villages, near Orlando. That goes right through the nose.
Whoops.
Oh,
I got no problem with that.
Well, if anybody can make the 4.67, it's Walter Ray Williams Jr., the only player to ever make the big 4, which you just add the 10-pin, and that's what you have. But not the start Deadeye was looking for.
Cross lane, but no help on the 6. Early open. How about the Badger Open? Lane oil pattern ready. What do you see here?
It's 52 feet in length. It's the longest of all of the named animal patterns in the PBA library. And Walter Ray told us yesterday, you know, this was playing the inside part of the lane when the lanes broke down, and it was like old school fallback. Don't look for a lot of back-end reaction on this very long oil pattern.
Left lane. Oh, goodness, not a great start. Again, way high. 6-10 up for Walter Ray here.
Well, the last thing he wanted to see was back-to-back open frames. a nice break trip in that 7-pin out. Walter Ray should have no problem converting the 6-10.
Which he does.
Longest all pattern I ever competed on was Tournament of Champions, 50 feet in length. And we used a lot of surface. We tried to keep our lines really straight, try to keep my target in front of me. There was just not a lot of room and not enough lane left to belly the ball, so your lines had to be really tight.
That goes way high. 3-6-10 up for Sean Maldonado.
I think the majority of the misses that we're going to see on today's telecast is going to be misses to the inside part of the target. The players just come in with that sense, just knowing that you can't miss target right.
Does cover for his mark. Break down the style of the youngster from Houston, Sean Maldonado.
Two-handed style, but he does use his thumb. And we've seen this a couple of times already here in the summer swing with Kyle Troop and Jason Belmonte, but he's got that little signature hop right at the foul line. He does it on every shot.
He told us yesterday when he first picked up bowling. Did it with two hands, had the hop. Hasn't changed. For that pocket, 10 pin.
We saw Sean in a doubles event earlier in the season with DJ Archer. Also saw him a bit the PBA League Series. Really good player, young up-and-comer, Sean Maldonado.
Has a spare. Back to Deadeye. We asked Sean what it would be like to take on Walter Ray Williams Jr. You know, as the 4 and 5 seed, that match at least will happen.
That's right.
He said thinking about it, well, a bit overwhelming. But once the match starts, he'd be fine. Walter Ray, and it's high. Help on the 4, not the 7.
My goodness.
I asked him how his look was prior to the interview, and he said, it's okay. Walter Ray, known for being extremely accurate and an excellent spare shooter.
There's the 7, there's his mark. 6-time world horseshoe pitching champion. You see the horseshoes on his shirt there. Loves the sport. There's the Arsenal. Recently won the Florida horseshoe pitching championship. Although he says his game in that sport not where he wants it to be.
Walter Ray going with the mastermind. I think the biggest stat that really sticks out for Walter Ray in my eyes is the fact that he won 32 titles after he was inducted in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, come on! That's the 1-3 pocket he's been looking for. Proper adjustment, left lane. And he's been in the Hall of Fame for 20 years. Still out here, 55 years old, competing with young guys like Sean Maldonado.
Remember, he won Player of the Year 7 times. The first year he won it was 1986.
Tom Barrett, top seed in this event, was born in 1985. Puts things into perspective. Ultimate Arsenal for Mr. Maldonado. And he crunches that 1-3 pit pocket perfectly, 10 back into the pit.
Let's take a look at the difference between the two-handed delivery of Jason Belmonte, who doesn't use his thumb, and Sean Maldonado. A little more crotch down, a little lower, comes up and out of it at the foul line, and that little hop. So 2 completely different styles using 2 hands. One uses his thumb, Sean doesn't. Excuse me, Jason doesn't. Nice shot there by Sean. And he used his thumb.
Late hit on the 7-pin.
Not a lot of back-end reaction, but still enough power to shred the rack and throw the 5-pin over into the 7-pin.
Finding a groove, the legend.
It wouldn't equate Walter Ray doing very well on a 52-foot oil pattern because he doesn't throw the high rep ball, the real power ball. But you know what he's great at is keeping the ball straight, keeping his target in front of him. Nobody's been better over the last, how many years? 30? Than this guy.
30 years of excellence. It's like Babe Ruth, Hank Aaron, Willie Mays, all wrapped into one, still playing. Come on, get up. He's been that good. Another strike for Walter Ray.
One thing we left out, Walter Ray, 55 years of age. Guess what? He drilled a 16-pound ball just for this event.
Has been playing with 15 for a long time. Wants the extra weight and wants to continue his legendary career. Tough matchup with Maldonado today.
By AMF, Roll This Way. And by 900 Global, performance for your game.
Walter Ray Williams Jr. voted the second greatest player in PBA history behind only Earl Anthony during PBA's 50th anniversary celebration back in '09. That is an incredible legacy. What does he think about the impact he's had on the game?
Well, it's nice that people think that, but I don't really consider that the fact. I consider Earl Anthony the greatest ever. I do have more titles than him. Managed to get one more Player of the Year, but I've also been on tour. This is my 33rd year. He only bowled on tour 14 years. So I think I've got over twice as many tournaments in as he did. So. But I don't mind being second in that particular category.
Always understated despite the excellence, the greatness, all those titles. Walter Ray Williams Jr., humble to the end. And you've seen him for years and years now.
The longevity is so impressive. You know, the other thing is he didn't bowl his first 200 game until he was 17.
Imagine that. Grew up in California, now lives in Florida. Back to Maldonado. Liked it. 10-pin.
Really good shot there by Sean as he throws that frozen rope at 52 feet of oil. Watch how straight this ball is and how it just barely wrinkles towards the 1-3, only to leave that ringing 10.
There's the spare. Sean told us yesterday he didn't think he would get nervous. He didn't think he'd be overwhelmed by the moment. First career TV show, and so far, that's proven to be true. I like his demeanor.
Sean's going to be a good player out here. He's going to win, and we're going to see a lot of this kid. He's got a great mindset, good head on his shoulders. He's a nice young man, and he's got game.
Left lane. 10-pin goes down late.
Caught just enough of the 10-pin to get it to fall forward.
I'm not throwing it hard, am I? I'm
Look
not
at
throwing
that.
it hard.
Sean going back and asking tour rep and fellow Hall of Famer Del Valle Jr. does he think he's throwing it too hard? Really only one bad shot, and that was in the second frame.
No, I just see it. You can feel it. Walter Ray is finding that groove. Time for our Columbia 300 fun facts. 47 titles for Walter Ray Williams Jr. and 8 majors. Their 4 TV finalists combined have 9 titles and 1 major. That from England's Dom Barrett. Incredible to think about the accomplishments of Walter Ray Williams Jr. Our Columbia 300 Fun Facts.
How about it?
Feeling it. I want to get back to, as we look at this strike, what Walter Ray said a moment ago in that interview about his comparisons with Earl Anthony. You knew Earl, you bowled with him, saw him many, many times. Been around Walter Ray for about 30 years. How do you compare the two?
You know, I think you can make a great argument about either player being the greatest, but, you know, the longevity obviously goes to Walter Ray. Hang on 1 second. Stay with me. Nice shot by Sean. You know, the thing is, and Walter Ray said it best when he spoke with us, Dave, that if Earl decided to bowl another 5, 6 years, 7 years, that, you know, he could have very easily won another 15 times, which would have given him a lot more titles than Walter Ray. So, you know, I think you give it to Earl because he won so many times in such a short span, but then you also have to give the nod to Walter Ray because you have to, I mean, you have to give longevity. It has to be worth something.
Two bowlers are in a groove right now.
Oh, nice break here for Sean Maldonado as he trips the 4-7-10 out. And we've got a really good match here in the opening match of the Badger Open. Walter Ray Williams Jr. working on 5 in a row.
The six-bagger finds it. Deadeye, the exact same spot in the pocket, time and time again. He has found his mark without question.
Pretty good for a 55-year-old man, throwing 16 pounds.
Six-bagger. How many times have you and I called Walter on TV? I mean, just dozens.
He's made 175 shows.
$4+ million in earnings. Only player ever to do it. That's what he needs. How about 7 straight?
God, no.
Boy, and this is going to be tough to convert. Gets it just a little bit to the right, but now he leaves the 2, 7, 8, a spare that you normally would have to throw a pretty good curve into. Walter Ray is going to try to get his ball to hook into the 2-pin, drive it into the 7, and then have enough on it to take out the 8-pin. You see how much extra time he's taking.
Big conversion. Gets it!
Margin for error on that, maybe a ½ an inch.
Let's take a look at our tough spare replay brought to you by Hammer. Walter Ray. Randy comes through.
He had to catch the 2-pin perfectly on the right side to have enough angle to throw it into the 7 and still have enough to somehow deter some of that deflection. Otherwise, he misses the back pin. It's perfect. Now, if he strikes out, he shoots, or excuse me, a strike here, he shoots 235.
Won't get it. Wow. 7-pin count and a 232 for Walter Ray. So it's Sean Maldonado now.
That was a huge shot because if he strikes there, he forces Sean Maldonado to get 2 strikes in the 10th. Now Sean just needs 1 strike and 9 spare.
One time, kid.
Imagine what's going through this young man's mind here.
1 strike, 8 spare.
First ever TV appearance is against Walter Ray.
Gotta have this one.
Gotta have it. Doesn't get it. 6-10 up.
Walter Ray Those 2 shots there in the 10th frame avoids disaster. He's moving on.
He wins on the bench.
Just got this shot left. You can see it has no chance.
Walter Ray Williams Jr., the 4 seed, has won on TV for a PBA record 153rd time as he knocks off young Sean Maldonado of Houston, Texas, in his first ever TV appearance. Sean bowled well, but not well enough to knock off the legend. Walter Ray advances. He'll bowl at least one more time on TV in OKC. It was not easy, but Hall of Fame legend Walter Ray Williams Jr. survives 232, 223 over Sean Maldonado in his first ever TV appearance to advance to the next round. Dave Ryan, along with Randy Peterson, PBA Hall of Famer, like Walter Ray Williams Jr. Walter Ray survives here, partner. This was not easy. When he needed the shot most, he came through again. Deadeye does it.
Yeah, you know, he avoided a disaster in that 10th frame. He actually had 2 splits in that match, but the one in the 10th frame when he left the 2-7-8 on this oil pattern is extremely difficult to convert, because typically you have to hook the ball a lot into that spare, and you can't do that on this oil pattern. So his margin for error when shooting that split was nil. And he just, I mean, he made it perfectly. He still gave Sean Maldonado an opening, though, when he didn't strike in the 10th frame. And then when he didn't strike on his fill shot, he made it that much easier for Sean. And Sean, unfortunately, wasn't able to pull off the shot in the 10th.
You asked him pre-match, live lane side there, about his competitive edge at 55 years old against youngsters like 28-year-old Sean Maldonado. What do you see? Does he still have it?
Absolutely, man. I still have it. You know, it's like riding a bike. I mean, you get back out there, even after it's been a couple of years, and you just never forget. The competitive juices get flowing, and you're right back in it.
Walter Ray Williams Jr. has won a PBA record 47 titles. GOAT, greatest of all time. They love him here in OKC. He'll take on Ronnie Russell when we return. Summer Swing continues.